Well, not in the US, at least. It really I think in the coming months we might start to see more of an impact in terms of inflation and growth. But what we're seeing in the US at least is a very resilient labour market for a start. As we've just heard, we've just been talking about the AI investment. That's really boosting GDP growth in the US. So we're not seeing a pullback there. If we look across other countries, it's a bit more diverse, and part of it is the cost of living crisis and how that is impacting consumer spending in other countries, such as Japan. There's a bit of a pullback in terms of sentiment. If we look at the UK as well, there's the growth outlook has been a bit lackluster. So not in the US, but in other countries, perhaps we're starting to see.
Sree writes these brilliant notes, Paul.
Yep.
Hike expected June 11th, ECB. BOJ, next move, 25 beep hike. She doesn't mince words.
No, she doesn't. So how about our Fed next week there, Sree? I mean, the data just doesn't, I guess if anything, it just says sit on your hands here.
Yes, I think as we've just heard, obviously it's Kevin Warsh's first meeting as chair of the FOMC. And he has been speaking in a very dovish tone in some of his recent speeches. But the data, again, there's nothing there that would suggest a move in either direction at this point. So really, it's a case of watching how the inflation outlook evolves. And that's really underpinned by the evolution of the conflict and when the Strait of Hormuz really reopens. So a lot really hinges on that. So for the now, we actually have the Fed on hold for a meaningful period of time. But once we start to see inflation picking up more meaningfully here, not just in terms of energy prices, but in terms of the spillovers into other areas of inflation, then I think we could start to see some hikes from the Fed. If this conflict continues into the next few months, actually. So it really does depend. But for now, we're quite confident that they will be on hold.
Sree, talk to us about the impact of the war in the UK and Europe as it relates to energy. Here in the US, you know, we're quote unquote energy independent. We are a net exporter, all that kind of stuff. How about for our friends in Europe and the UK?
Yes, there's a little bit more of a sensitivity there in terms of, as you say, the imported energy impact. I think recent data, if we take the UK for example, there are some technical distortions there, so it's very hard to read into some of the moves that we saw in the April reading. So I think there it's really a case again of the longer this continues, the more vulnerability there is in terms of the energy impact. We can think about, as I already pointed out in the note, that we are expecting a hike from the ECB tomorrow. I think in terms of central banks, it's really quite divergent, with a hike from Bank of Japan and ECB, fairly confident there, but the Bank of England and Fed really on hold for now. I think the ECB is closer to neutral, so they have a little bit more room to manoeuvre in terms of hiking sooner.